Track Arosa Hellas Lager. I mean, we've been doing quite well in England with Hellas Lager recently, mate. You got your Utopian Brewery absolutely smashing it. You got Hawkstone absolutely smashing it. What else we got? We got Donzoko giving it the Northern Hellas. It's all going on, mate. English lager is where it's at the moment, man. And why not? The Americans took English IPA and made American IPA, so why can't we take German Hellas and make bloody English Hellas? And that's exactly what we're doing. So if you don't like it, you can do one, mate. I was going to say something German, but I don't know any German anyway. Um, Track Brewery from Manchester. I used to go to university in Manchester. I was big on the scene in Manchester, mate. You're right, kids. Sorry about that. Used to love it in the warehouse projects. Used to rave it up in Manchester. A bit of Sankey soaps. You know it, mate. If you know anything about Manchester, you know it's a cracking night out. But I'm quite old, so back in those days, there wasn't much of a craft beer scene going on, or there might have been, but it wasn't really in any of my kind of taste. I was too busy, throwing shapes in front of techno DJs. But since then, there's been quite a lot going on, and Track is one of them. I think Cloudwater's another. And this is my first Track beer, and they are famous for their hazies and their pale ales, etc. And of course, I've picked up their Hellas Lager because, I'm neurodivergent and I diverge at all opportunities, mate, to be honest. So I picked up their Hellas Lager. To be honest, it's because I really like the can. The can is fantastic. Just super minimal, silver, little T track. It just sold it to me, mate. Like it's a beauty. I love anything that just is understated in terms of branding. Um, yeah, it's great seeing amazing artwork and crazy colors and all sorts going on and super cool stuff. But sometimes, if you have a marketing for a beer company and it is just minimal as anything, I'm buzzing, mate. I love it. Same with London Black or Donzoko Hellas is another one, and Track Arosa Hellas Lager. Boom, silver bullet of a beer. All right, I've talked so much that the head's gone, um, but it was a nice head and brilliantly white. It is fairly clear. It's not. There is a slight amount of haze, so this is not a filtered beer, and I'm not sure how much that they lagered it for. But it looks the part. It looks like a Hellas. So let's see if it smells like a Hellas. I can confirm it is a Hellas, but it smells ever so slightly not murky, but just not as bright as your your big boys of the Hellas world. Um, that really kind of bready and then flowery, beautiful smell that emanates. This has that element of flower. There is a bit of honey. I'm smelling a bit of complexity. I have no idea if these boys are decocting, but it smells like there's something going on the malt side, which is complex, and maybe not like crazy dialed in like the 700-year-old or whatever big boys in Munich, but it smells like they've got something going on the malt side. It just doesn't quite smell as clean as your Munich boys. And I'm fully aware that I'm comparing an English brewery in Manchester to the likes of Iyengar. But if you're going to brew a Hellas, yeah. All right. I'm getting honey. I'm getting almost kind of like candied honey, like how I imagine, like, you know that when you I don't know, how does it happen? You know when honey goes really hard and it's not no longer the liquid, and it maybe you give it a sniff and it's a little bit sort of lost a little bit of moisture, and it's a little bit more deeper honey, like a darker honey. That's what I'm getting from this, which is making me think maybe they are decocting, or they're substituting something in to try and get, mimic that decoction. So melanoidin or whatever. Enough smelling. Let me taste it. It's not a bad effort, mate. It's not a bad effort. I'll give them it. I'd say, and I'll be, because Track is quite evidently a great brewery and they're smashing beers left, right, and center. I don't feel bad saying anything slightly other than, it's amazing. I do try and be, positive, critically positive in a good way. This is not an elite Helles, but it's not a bad Helles. And I'll explain why. So for me, it lacks that, and I always describe it, when you drink an Iyengar, an Augustina, or the like, there is like this zing, and for like a German Pilsner, it's a snap, but for a Helles, it is a kind of zing that then like rolls into a bready edge of toast and honey kind of flavor, and this slightly lacks the zing, and then the malt is slightly subdued, but it's not like, it's nothing bad. It's still a good beer. It's evidently brewed well. It's the cold side management is evidently great. So I think it's either that they aren't doing the decoction, maybe they're substituting in melanoidin, or maybe they are doing decoction, but like there's something going on that is just not quite as dialed in as your Munich breweries are achieving a Helles, and it's not like rustic like the rest of Bavaria. I think it's just that there's, it's just not quite hitting the pinnacle. I'd give this a 3 out of 5. It's not a bad beer. It's not an exceptional beer. But it's still a very respectable lager. And if them as a brewery are smashing their usual beers, which are hazies, pale ales, all that kind of stuff, they are a very highly respected brewery. They're in the top echelons of the English craft beer scene for sure. So if they want to produce a lager for your walk-in who's not sure about craft beer and their mate just brought them along, and they usually drink Cruz Campo or whatever, this will do them well. They'll be impressed with this, and this is better than your shite lager that's going around. This is still a good lager. It's just not quite worthy of being in an Iyengar glass, if you know what I mean. And I'm not trying to be harsh about it at all. And to apologize to the brewery, I'm gonna go straight online and order a bunch of their other beers, because I know that they're fantastic as a brewery, and I'll give them a proper run in terms of their other beers. Yeah, it's literally like they almost hit it. It's almost there. It's like they just need to dial it somewhere. I don't know what it is. I'm trying to pick it. It's like either it's the water chemistry or something to do with the pH management or something. It's just lacking that um, brightness, like that zingy brightness of a really great exceptional Helles, where they manage to, like, a Helles is supposed to be soft, bready, honeyed, flowery, herbal, very slight zest, and like zingy. And this has honey. It has that kind of up front. It has that softness. It is kind of flowery, slightly herbal, um, but it lacks that finishing kind of zest and yeah. I don't know what the German word of it is, but the French words are je ne sais quoi. So that's what it's lacking. It's a really good beer, but it's lacking that je ne sais quoi, which is the most. That is one of the worst things I've ever said on a beer review video. Like, who do I think I am dropping French phrases in? Like, I'll see myself out, mate. Thanks for coming. I'm going. I'm going back home. See you later. All right, I'm nearly at the end of this beer now, and it's warmed up a little bit, and I'm trying to think what's going on with it. So it isn't your typical kind of German Munich Helles. I'm trying to think, like, how is a brewery that's so well respected not managed to reach the heights? Do you know what I mean? And I'm getting, as it's warmed up, I'm getting this kind of sense that there's something else going on with this beer, and I'm trying to pick it. And like I said, like it was floral and a little bit herby early on in the beer, but I'm now thinking that, like, am I just projecting that from what I'm like expecting from a Helles? And drinking it now as it's down the glass and it's warmed up and it's kind of, you know, bringing more flavors as beers do when they warm up. It's tasting like, yeah, it's not your delicate, soft, like bready, beautiful kind of bouquet, honeyed bouquet flower Helles that you're getting from like these kind of breweries. It is a little bit kind of murkier, darker. It's almost like like on the malt side, it's like they're substituting decoction for something like melanoidin or something like that. And then on the hop side, it's tasting like they've got something like another hop in it. Like it's either bittered with a non-German hop, or it's dry hopped, or like whirlpooled with something that is perhaps like on the edge of citrus and spice instead of floral and herb, which now makes me think that there's an American hop in this or something. Like, there's something strange with this beer, and not strange, not in a bad way. Like I said, it is a a good beer. It's not a like an elite beer, and it's certainly not an elite Munich Helles. But it's making me think, like, what's the brewery doing? So without go and research this beer and its recipe and blah blah blah, I want to say that this is Pilsner malt, perhaps a little bit of Munich. Bleh. I'm going to say this is Pilsner malt, perhaps a little bit of Munich, maybe a light touch of melanoidin or something to compensate for a lack of decoction. And then either a bittering hop that isn't classically noble, or a whirlpool edition that is possibly American, but an American hop that isn't like big and juicy. It's something that is a bit spicy, softly citrusy. But the citrusy doesn't come out like obviously because I didn't pick it up here, but I'm picking up kind of spicy citrus towards the bottom once it's warmed up. That's my guess. So anyone that knows anything about this beer, put a comment in and tell me. And maybe I just approach this in the eye of glass thinking, oh, it's a Helles. Let me judge it against a, Munich Helles. But maybe they've made, like Utopian are making German beers with English hops. Maybe Track thought, let me have a bit of that. Let's also make a German beer, but change it a bit. And I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. Like I said, it's a good beer. It's just not a classic elite German Helles, which I absolutely love. But I do love Utopian beers, and they're not classically elite German Helles. They are elite English Helles.